Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw recap and results video. And this was Monday Night Raw's go-home show for the Royal Rumble, which is this Sunday. And my God, what a terrible go-home show this was. This show tonight was absolutely fucking boring and lazy. And when I say lazy, I mean lazy in WWE creative and the booking of this show. Just what do we get on tonight's show? We got Asuka and Alexa Bliss in the main event once again. It's like, oh yeah, we got nothing for the main event. Let's just copy the Alexa Bliss and Asuka match from last week's script and let's paste it for this week. We don't got a main event, so let's just make Asuka and Alexa Bliss the main event once again. Only difference was the Raw Women's Championship was on the line. Just everything about this show tonight was absolutely terrible. This, in my opinion, is one of the worst Raws of the year so far. And it did not get you hyped up for the Royal Rumble on Sunday. Just very terrible, shitty show it was tonight. Absolutely boring too. So, not going to waste any time. I'm going to jump right into the recap and results for the show tonight. So I'm not going to take up too much time on this video. So, if you guys haven't checked out the video that I uploaded earlier today, talked about WWE Network moving to NBC's streaming service Peacock. So if you haven't checked out my review of that I did earlier today, definitely go check it out. So yeah, so WWE Network is moving to Peacock starting on March 18th. $4.99 if you want ads, $9.99 without the ads. So I explained it more in the WWE Network moving to Peacock video that I did earlier. So definitely go check that out. But on to Monday Night Raw tonight. On to this shitty, garbage, go-home show for the Royal Rumble for Monday Night Raw. So Monday Night Raw opened up with Drew McIntyre. Of course, Drew McIntyre returning after he was quarantined because he had COVID. So McIntyre ended up getting in the ring, he got on the mic, and he ended up saying that it feels so good to be back on Monday Night Raw. McIntyre ended up thanking everyone for their well wishes while he was out with COVID. He ended up talking about getting lucky with no symptoms of COVID. He only said that he only lost his sense of smell, which is one of the COVID symptoms. But he ended up saying that he's back at 100%. He ended up dedicating his match on Sunday to everyone who is fighting COVID. He ended up going on to say that we're all going to get through this and beat it. So McIntyre went on to say that speaking of things he's tired of, his match will be against Goldberg. He ended up talking about watching Goldberg when he was a teenager and how he built up his impressive streak. How he ran through The Rock and other superstars until he just disappeared for years. So McIntyre ended up saying that the last thing to go in a heavyweight fighter is their power, and that Goldberg returned a tough fighter like he had been. McIntyre ended up talking about how Goldberg had continued to win and win, and McIntyre ended up saying that ends this Sunday, as he will end the other streak and remain the WWE champion. So then McIntyre got interrupted by The Miz and John Morrison, which McIntyre was like, oh yeah, this is not how we want to start the show. And hell, I fully agree with McIntyre. This is not how we want to start out the show with Miz and Morrison coming out. So the Miz and Morrison end up taunting McIntyre over his match with Goldberg, and they speculate that he or Goldberg may end up injured before the end of the match. Miz ended up saying whoever is left standing at the end of the match will be a sitting duck, as him and Morrison will come into the ring and beat the holy hell out of the champion, whether it's McIntyre or Goldberg. Miz ended up saying that he will cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase and be announced the new WWE champion. So then out came Goldberg. Goldberg made his way out. Goldberg ended up getting into the ring. He ended up getting in McIntyre's face. So he ended up telling McIntyre he's next on Sunday. So typical Goldberg comes into the ring and says, "Oh, McIntyre, this Sunday, you're next," and then drops the mic. That's all the words that Goldberg could get out of his mouth. So Goldberg and McIntyre, they end up staring each other down. Miz and Morrison were running their mouths on the ring apron. So they were talking shit, Miz and Morrison, to McIntyre and Goldberg. So we had McIntyre and Goldberg yank Miz and Morrison into the ring. Goldberg ended up dropping Miz with the spear. McIntyre then ended up delivering the Claymore to Morrison. And after all that, McIntyre and Goldberg end up facing off in the middle of the ring. McIntyre then raised the WWE Championship. And that was that. So, but what a horrible opening to Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre opened the segment up with him just talking just fine. And then when the Miz and Morrison came out, this segment just became so dreadful, in my opinion. Just absolutely fucking dreadful. So moving on. We had Charlotte Flair with Charlie Caruso. And Charlie Caruso was interviewing Charlotte Flair. Charlotte ended up talking about performing well under pressure in regards to Shayna Baszler. She ended up mentioning defending her titles with Asuka this weekend and entering the Women's Rumble. So Charlotte was also asked by Charlie Caruso about her father, Ric Flair, and Lacey Evans. Charlotte ended up telling Charlie Caruso that she is aware of Lacey's intentions, but she isn't worried about that, as she is going to be focused on Shayna Baszler. So that was what Charlotte had to say. Now we went to Charlotte versus Shayna Baszler, which another week, Charlotte has the first match on Monday Night Raw. Great. Just great. The match ended in a disqualification because Nia Jax ended up coming into the ring because Charlotte went for the figure 4. She tried to bridge it into the figure 8 on Shayna Baszler. And that's when Nia Jax came into the ring and dropped a leg drop on Charlotte to break it up. So that caused a disqualification. Post-match, Charlotte was then beat down on Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler until Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose end up coming out. So they make the save, and Lacey Evans then end up attacking Charlotte from behind, and we had a brawl ensue with these women. So Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then Monday Night Raw came back. We had a 6-woman tag: Charlotte, Mandy Rose, and Dana Brooke versus Lacey Evans, Nia Jax, and Shayna Baszler. This was absolutely awful. This whole first hour of Monday Night Raw was complete trash, was complete garbage. So we had this 6-woman tag team match start off. Lacey Evans ended up starting off with Mandy Rose. So we had Lacey Evans doing the Flair strut. She was taunting Charlotte. Lacey Evans ended up grounding Mandy Rose. So we had, at the end of the match, Charlotte, Dana Brooke, and Mandy Rose end up winning the match by countout because Shayna Baszler didn't beat the 10 count. So because of that, Charlotte, Dana, and Mandy won the match. And post-match of that, we had Lacey Evans was yelling at the referee. She was yelling at the referee about how he should count. So we saw that. And then you think it's over. No. They restarted the match again because Adam Pearce ended up coming out to the stage. And he was saying, "Oh, do you want this match to be restarted?" And so Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, and Charlotte Flair were like, yeah, restart the match. So then Adam Pearce ended up ordering the referee to restart the match. Really? Did we really need a restart to this match? Like I said, this is lazy booking from WWE. It's like, oh, yeah, we got nothing else for Monday Night Raw tonight. Let's just restart the match and kill more time. Awful. Well, in this one, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Lacey Evans end up winning. Nia Jax ended up grabbing Dana Brooke because Dana Brooke was on the top rope. So Nia Jax then grabbed Dana Brooke, delivered a powerbomb, and turned it into a choke slam. Nia Jax then went for the pin. And there you go. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Lacey Evans ended up winning. And that was that. But this was not needed. This restart of the match was not needed. And then we had Mustafa Ali cutting a little promo where we had Mustafa Ali cutting his promo that was posted on Twitter, where he was yelling at Kofi over how Kofi stole his WrestleMania moment from WrestleMania 35, because, that was originally supposed to be Mustafa Ali in Kofi's position that he was at that time, where Kofi Mania was running wild. That was supposed to be Mustafa Ali's moment there, but he got injured, so Kofi ran wild. They pushed Kofi to the moon at that point, and Kofi went on to WrestleMania. He won the WWE Championship. So it was Kofi Mania. Yeah, we all remember that. So then we had Slapjack versus Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods once again run through members of Retribution, just like how Ricochet did. So, but Xavier Woods ended up winning the match, delivered the Shining Wizard to Flapjack. So Xavier Woods ended up winning. Post-match, Xavier Woods ended up staring down at Mustafa Ali, and Mace ended up rushing into the ring, and he ended up distracting Xavier Woods, who ran out of the ring, and T-Balls ended up running over Xavier Woods, and he ended up leveling Xavier with a big boot, and we saw Retribution end up bringing Xavier Woods into the ring. Mustafa Ali was watching as T-Bar and Mace end up delivering a double choke slam to Xavier Woods. Mustafa Ali then ended up sliding Slapjack out of the ring to get a chair. So we saw T-Bar, Mace, and Slapjack end up holding Xavier Woods, while Mustafa Ali was yelling at him, and he was holding the chair. Mustafa Ali was looking to swing the chair at Xavier Woods, but he ended up stopping. So Mustafa Ali then ended up setting the chair up. He ended up taking a seat. So Mustafa Ali ended up telling Reckoning, aka Mia Yim, to get him a mic. So Mustafa Ali ended up getting on the mic, and he ended up saying to Xavier Woods that all he wants to talk about is wanting to be king of the ring, and that he sure looks like a peasant right now. Mustafa Ali ended up saying, like a real king, he will show mercy upon Xavier Woods. And for that, he will do exactly, Xavier Woods will do exactly what he says by delivering a message to Kofi. So Mustafa Ali ended up telling Xavier Woods to tell Kofi that he heard the sad, unfortunate news about how Kofi will not be in the Royal Rumble. And he ended up telling Xavier Woods to tell Kofi not to fear, because a replacement has been found. And his name is Mustafa Ali. So there you go. But overall, match was just meh, in my opinion. So then we had the VIP lounge. MVP was out, of course, with Bobby Lashley, Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin. Of course, they had the Hurt Business. So MVP ended up talking about how good the Royal Rumble after party is going to be. So he ended up mentioning about Matt Riddle ended up taking on them in a gauntlet match later on in the night. He was saying that Matt Riddle may be a brain-dead moron, but they need to focus on the task at hand. So Lashley ended up talking about how good they all look with their gold. And he ended up saying that this is just the beginning. So Shelton was trying to say a few words, but then got interrupted by Cedric Alexander. Cedric ended up saying that they have been on a roll lately, and it's all because of MVP. Lashley ended up saying that because of that, they collected on some outstanding debts as a token of appreciation to MVP. So they presented MVP with a gold chain, and the gold chain said THB in diamonds. Of course, it stands for the initials of the Hurt Business. So they put it over MVP. They put the chain over MVP. A really nice looking chain. So Lashley ended up saying that this is so he can be draped in gold, like the rest of the group. So MVP, of course, put the chain on and says the Hurt Business is in business. He ended up saying that he's not often at a loss for words, and that he doesn't have the words. Cedric ended up taking credit for working with the chain designer on the chain, and he pointed out how it's 24 karat gold. So then R-Truth came out. So R-Truth ended up mentioning this being his own surprise party, and that it's weird for him to be performing at his own party. And MVP was like, oh, you're not on the list. So R-Truth ends up thinking, this is for his birthday, which was last week. But they ended up correcting him. Cedric ended up saying this is all about MVP. And Shelton ended up telling R-Truth this is not the time. So Lashley ended up saying, you know what? Truth is right. And Lashley ended up saying that he forgot it was Truth's birthday, and that he wants to make it up to him, and that he has to come in the ring to get it. So of course then we got the circus coming out, because of course the 24/7 title rules, the Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 title rules. So we saw Drew Gulak, Tucker, Humberto Carrillo, and Akira Tozawa ran down. R-Truth ended up retreating. Like I said, it's the fucking circus. So Tucker ended up rolling up R-Truth, but the pin was broken up by Humberto Carrillo. we had the Hurt Business end up attacking everyone out there. So MVP was the only one that was left in the ring. And then Matt Riddle ended up running in from behind, and he leveled MVP with a knee. So Riddle ended up retreating into the crowd, and the Hurt Business ended up returning into the ring to check on MVP. And so that was that. And I thought we were going to get, this gauntlet match, after this segment, which, it should have been done though, because the Hurt Business was out there. I don't understand why, they didn't have the gauntlet match then, but how would I know? It's WWE creative. It's WWE booking. So there you go. So then we had R-Truth backstage. He was hiding from the Hurt Business. Adam Pearce ended up approaching him. R-Truth wanted to prove himself in the Money in the Bank match. So Styles and Omos end up walking up. Styles ended up saying that R-Truth is trying to say he wants a spot in the Royal Rumble, and that he wants to help him prove that he's worthy. So then Pearce ended up telling R-Truth to have a match with Styles, and that he will consider it. So that was basically that. So we had AJ Styles versus R-Truth later on in the night. Yeah, you'll probably all know who won. So then we had Sheamus versus John Morrison, which this was just, in my opinion. Sheamus ended up winning, delivered the white noise on John Morrison. So there you go. Sheamus ended up winning the match. And then post-match, The Miz ended up getting on the mic, and he ended up saying that if Sheamus really wants to prepare for the Rumble, he needs to fight in a handicap match against him and John Morrison. So Sheamus then ended up accepting the challenge. So Monday Night Raw went to commercial. So when Monday Night Raw came back, we had the 2-on-1 handicap match, Miz and Morrison versus Sheamus. This was boring. This was absolutely boring. Miz and John Morrison end up winning the match because Miz ended up coming from behind and hit the skull-crushing finale, because Sheamus ended up hitting the Brogue Kick to John Morrison, and that's when the Miz ended up coming from behind, hitting the skull-crushing finale. So there you go. The Miz and John Morrison end up winning the match. Who cares? Who cares? So then we went to Lacey Evans backstage with Ric Flair. Ric Flair was showing Lacey Evans some moves. It kind of reminded me of that segment from the Attitude Era where it was Triple H and Trish Stratus. Triple H was showing some moves on Trish Stratus until Stephanie ended up walking in and caught Triple H doing those moves to Trish Stratus. You all probably remember that segment from the Attitude Era. But one of my favorite segments. So Charlotte ended up appearing, and she was not happy. She ordered Lacey Evans to get out. And so Charlotte was knocking, her father for some of his bad ways at being a father, like how he spent his money on everyone but his family. And so Charlotte ended up mentioning how she's the only one here to protect her father, as he's now going from legend to old man. And she ended up saying that she has no problem saying it to his face. So Charlotte ended up saying, a few words to her father, to Ric Flair. And she was knowing that she is not the bad guy here. And she ended up saying this was cute when she was a kid, but no more. So Lacey Evans ended up appearing behind Charlotte. Lacey Evans ended up laying the woman's right on Charlotte, as Charlotte ended up turning around. Ric Flair was looking like he was about to check on Charlotte, but Lacey Evans ended up pulling him away, and Ric Flair and Lacey Evans end up heading off. So Ric Flair was telling Lacey Evans how to woo in the hallway. So we just heard them go woo as Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from commercial, we had Styles versus R-Truth. You all know who won this match. Do I need to say who won the match? Styles ended up winning. There was a point where Styles ended up dropping R-Truth on his face at the edge of the ring apron, which is, of course, the hardest part of the ring. So R-Truth, what was funny was Truth ended up slowly looking up and almost was standing there. I like to look on R-Truth's face as he looked up and saw almost there. So, but Styles ended up winning the match, where Styles ended up rolling Truth into the calf crusher because Truth was going for the attitude adjustment because he was doing John Cena moves there, like he used the 5-knuckle shuffle, the you can't see me, and he went for the scissors kick. Truth went for the scissor kick to Styles, but Truth ended up going for the AA, and that's when Styles ended up countering to the calf crusher. So Styles ended up winning. So easy win for Styles. So then we had the Alexa Bliss, Alexa's Playground set, where Alexa Bliss was looking at this imaginary person, like it's like the ghost or the soul of the Fiend sitting next to her, Bray Wyatt. So Alexa Bliss ended up saying that she just wanted to have fun with Asuka in her playground, and that Asuka didn't want to play nice. So, it was just that, with Alexa Bliss. But Alexa Bliss is the only thing that's, good happening on Monday Night Raw. She's the only thing that's holding up this show. I mean, her character here, her character cannot save the show. I mean, she's holding it up, but she can't save this whole show from being a good show. So, but I like that how at the end of the segment where Alexa Bliss was looking to the camera, we saw flashes of the Fiend with her face. Thought that was a very cool imagery there. And then she ended up mouthing, "Let me in," with, of course, the Fiend Bray Wyatt's voice to end the segment. So that was that. And then we had the Gauntlet match, Matt Riddle versus the Hurt Business. If Matt Riddle ends up defeating MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and Cedric Alexander, he will get to face Bobby Lashley, earn a United States Championship shot against Bobby Lashley. So, but Matt Riddle ended up defeating all three of the guys, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and Cedric Alexander. So Matt Riddle ends up getting his shot at the United States Championship against Bobby Lashley. So post-match, we had Bobby Lashley ends up attacking Matt Riddle from behind. Lashley ends up locking in the Hurt Lock on Matt Riddle, which left him laying by the barricade. And they didn't even announce when Matt Riddle will get his shot at the United States Championship against, Bobby Lashley. No word. So, moving on, we had a pre-recorded promo from Edge. Edge hasn't been on TV in 7 months. So last time we saw Edge was with Randy Orton in the greatest wrestling match ever at Backlash. So that was the last time we saw Edge, and he's been out, all this time. So Edge ended up saying that 2020 taught us all that you can't sleep on tomorrow. And you've got to fight for every day, like tomorrow is not guaranteed. I'm saying? Sometimes you find yourself in a place where you got to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep walking. Edge ended up recalling how his career ended. And he ended up saying that when he first told his mom that he was going to be a pro wrestler, she ended up telling him to just go do it. So he ended up talking about how the words made him fight for 9 years to get his career back and to get his dream back. He ended up saying that at Backlash last year, Randy Orton gave him another reminder that everything you hold close can be torn away just like that. Edge went on to say that he knows what his mom would say and that she would tell him to just go do it. So Edge ended up declaring himself into the Royal Rumble, which I think he should not have said that. I think WWE should have kept that as a surprise entry. But Edge wanted to say that he knows it won't be like last year and that the stakes are higher because he knows the window closes for him more and more every day and that he needs to win the Rumble and headline WrestleMania and take back what he never lost, what is his. So Edge ended up saying that if you have a dream at some point, you have to fight to make it a reality, and that he's going to fight with every breath in his body at the Rumble to maybe make this last dream come true. So then he said if you've been with him on this ride, you know he's got to try because a world without dreamers and fighter is a much less magical place. So Edge went on to say that he thinks he can and that he will see us at the Rumble. This was a pretty good promo from Edge. We're hitting on a year after, he made his return at the Royal Rumble. That amazing, great moment. One of the greatest moments of all time when he made his appearance last year at the Royal Rumble. I will never forget how that crowd popped for Edge when he came out. Just an absolutely great moment that was. Main event. Alexa Bliss versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. And once again, Alexa Bliss and Asuka main eventing Monday Night Raw like they did last week. So the only difference was the Raw Women's Championship was on the line. But we had a point in the match where Alexa was riding a rocking horse in the middle of the ring. And Asuka ended up looking confused. And Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back, Alexa Bliss was in control of the match. And, of course, there was a point where Alexa Bliss was transformed back into her usual look. She had her normal attire, and Asuka was just stunned at what was going on with Alexa Bliss. So Alexa Bliss was shown crying. She ended up looking terrified and disoriented, like what's going on. So we had Alexa Bliss end up sending Asuka face first into the turnbuckle. Alexa Bliss was in some sort of trance. So Alexa Bliss ended up walking into the corner. She ended up facing the turnbuckle. Lights were going down in the Thunderdome. And the lights end up coming back on. And it's the darker version of Alexa Bliss that we saw last week, where she had the black lipstick. She was turned upside down in the corner like Bray Wyatt would do. The match, nobody even won the match. The bell didn't even ring at the end of the match. But Randy Orton ended up appearing behind Alexa Bliss because Alexa Bliss ended up applying the mandible claw to Asuka. So Randy Orton was behind Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss ended up turning around, and Orton ended up dropping her with an RKO. And Alexa Bliss was laid out in the middle of the ring. And that was how Monday Night Raw went off the air. Stupid ending. I'm like, who guessed Randy Orton would come out and deliver the RKO to Alexa Bliss? I knew it was coming. You all probably knew it was coming. And I'm like, we got nobody win the match. Absolutely pointless. But this show tonight, like I said, absolutely fucking terrible, boring, lazy, and it did not get you all hyped up for the Royal Rumble on Sunday. This was one of the worst Monday Night Raws of the year so far. But good job, Bruce. Good job, Bruce Pritchard. You delivered one hell of a shitty show. Of a shitty go-home show. So anyways, that's it for the Monday Night Raw recap and results video. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Be sure to check out my WWE Network moving to Peacock video that I uploaded earlier today if you haven't seen it. And there will be no Dynamite review on Wednesday. So just wanted to put that out. No Dynamite review Wednesday night. But anyways, that's it for the video. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all later.